There's a lot of great tutorials on YouTube, but not that I would know, because I keep putting all these potentially life-changing tutorials into my watch later, and to instead use my precious time to watch other life-changing contents. Recently, I've been in a bit of a drawing slump and nothing seems to be working, so I thought I would go through my watch later and give one of them a try. Little did I know that this one tutorial would send me down a 4-week rabbit hole that would help me improve my art, get unstuck, and enjoy drawing again. The video in question was this one by brokendraw, which honestly just click off this one and watch that one instead. brokendraw broke his drawing down into 4 simple steps.
It's as simple as adding one value at a time.
And when I saw his before and after, I was sold. Well, I was tricked. Tricked into studying values, something I've been avoiding because it sounded boring. But it's also something I probably needed more than I realized. So anyways, let's give this 4-step method a try. To get started, I got
images of primitive forms under harsh lighting.
My plan here is to start simple, then slowly work my way up to drawing humans. Then,
use a flat square brush.
And I'm ready to draw. First step is to try your best to match the shape using just black and white. While this might sound simple, as someone who's never done this before, it was messing with my mind. But at the same time, oddly refreshing. The next steps 2 and 3, is to add 2 more lighter grays. For me, I just used these 2 grays in between the black and white values. Then the 4th and final step was to blend the values. In the rest of this video, I'll be skipping the 4th step, mainly because I like the rough blocky look without the blending. And that was it. Now all you had to do was to repeat this multiple times and work your way up more complex references. That being said, I did find doing all 3 steps at once a bit overwhelming, so when I continued my study, I decided to break into 2 parts, starting with black and white. One crucial adjustment I did to the study was to add a 3 minutes timer. I was being too much of a perfectionist, so I'm hoping this will help me draw more and then fail more and improve more. And then I continued the study. This simple exercise made such a huge impact on me that I really want to make this video just to share this. And eventually I felt confident enough to start drawing other references like fruits and even statues. Statues were a little bit too difficult, so I went back to fruits. But fruits though, I was crushing it. This avocado was by far my favorite. And just when I thought it couldn't get any better, I drew my first skull. It's nowhere near perfect by any means, but I just find it wild that you can draw skulls without needing guidelines or anatomy knowledge. At this point, if I were to continue this, I would likely improve my drawing skills by a lot. But I do have one concern about this study, which was how exactly do I apply this to anime style drawings? I feel like the practice so far has been more for painting rather than anime style drawing. And that's when I came across a neat little insight from this book, The Practice and Science of Drawing by Harold Speed. And this page on line versus mass drawing blew my mind. Okay, imagine a scale where line and mass are on opposite ends. Line drawing, like anime illustrations, is all about design, stylization, and expression. While mass drawing, like traditional painting, is more about observation and capturing reality. And then in the middle, we have this painterly anime style that combines the expressiveness of line drawing with the realism of mass drawing. I love this painterly style. It's a style that I tried and failed in my previous video. Back then, I jumped straight into studying this painterly style without knowing the basics. But what I should have done was instead study line and mass separately. Then once you have a firm grasp of both, should you then merge them together. So that's why for someone like me who can do line drawing but not mass drawing, studying value could be the key to unlocking painterly style drawings. So back to the study. I got harder references, increased the timer to 5 minutes, and went back to grinding. Even though I was getting used to the study, the combination of harder references and short timer kept things challenging. Maybe a bit too challenging, as I apparently lost my mind and started drawing weirder and weirder stuff. I like noting down my thoughts after each drawing, and I can be a little mean on myself, but that's just how I felt at the time. I couldn't really see improvements while I was focused on drawing, So if you're doing this, I highly recommend looking back at your art from time to time. When I eventually did that and look at my progress as a whole, I was blown away. I was struggling to draw cubes earlier, so I never expected to be able to draw all this. And that gave me the final push to finish off step 1 of the study. So far, it's been black and white, but for step 2 and 3, it's time to add 2 more values. So I selected a few of the black and white drawings and started adding the midtones. This step is pretty straightforward and also very satisfying. It's the step where you get to see your black and white drawing come to life. I was slowly getting more comfortable with the process, and I felt like something finally clicked when I did this avocado. This avocado had really low contrast areas, so I tried this technique called
Squint and zoom out.
Squinting.
Lean back and squint.
Squinting just somehow helps me see values more clearly, and it works especially well for images with low contrast. I don't know how it works, but it just works. Here, try squinting and see how the values slowly appears. And then refine the skulls, more complex scenes, and statues. And in no time, I felt comfortable with adding 2 values, so I think I'm ready to move on to the real challenge. Drawing humans. A couple of months ago, I used this exact reference in my vlog study. At the time, things didn't really go well. But this time around, I'm gonna be redrawing this exact same reference to see how far I've come. Back then, I knew nothing about values, but now that we went through all the exercises, this is going to be simple. Oh shit. Yeah, that's not good. I thought I would just show you the final outcome and it would be better than the one 5 months ago. And that would be it, the end of the video. But nothing changed. So what do I even do now? Go back to fruits, statues, or should I go study anatomy? Or maybe there's one thing I haven't tried. Stylization. Basically, combining line and mask together. Something Speed suggested not to do until your fundamentals are solid. Which mine definitely are not. But since my final goal is to combine anime with painterly style anyways, I figured it wouldn't hurt to give this a try, since stylizing and simplifying features could help make drawing humans easier. So to do that, I got 15 stylized drawings from Pinterest, arranged them by difficulty from level 1 to 3, and got to work studying stylized drawings. I thought that by studying stylized drawings, I'll start to see how other artists simplify features, like what they exaggerate and what they leave out. But this was so difficult. I kept second guessing myself, thinking that maybe I should just go study anatomy instead. Despite that, I just kept going, treating this exercise like fruits, by focusing more on the big shapes before moving on to smaller ones like eyes, nose, and mouth. And finally, I reached the final boss of level 1. I made sure to pick much harder references for the last drawing of each level, and I think I got a bit intimidated here, because I was so focused on the fine details that I didn't zoom out at all. And as a result, the shape matching was super off. So I gave this another 15 minutes, and here's how it looks. Other than fixing the proportions, I added these fine lines for hair, which helped a lot with faking illusions of detail. And even though it's just a copy of a possibly AI image, I felt proud of my progress. It felt like maybe I was moving towards the right direction. As the reference increased in difficulty, I thought it was time to increase the timer as well. Not only that, the amount of times that I squint also increases. Squinting and zooming out, it's honestly the ultimate weapon in this study. So far, everything was going smoothly. And then I got to the boss of level 2. Before this, I took a 4 days break and this was the first drawing back. Needless to say, I was not confident at all. But it's just 15 minutes per drawing and even if I fail, I can just try again. And I'm glad I gave this a try because this turned out to be my favorite drawing by far. I just love this blocky, lo-fi feel. There's just something aesthetically pleasing about it. So with the momentum on my side, I kept going and breezed through level 3. And I feel like I've come a long way, from fruits to statues to this. But sadly, the only way to know if I've truly improved was to tackle the true boss of the study. This stupid reference that's been haunting me since 5 months ago. But this time, things will be different. Right? Right? Okay, actually, not too bad, but also not too good. That being said, comparing this to the first attempt, it was a huge improvement. I even drew this 2 more times, but to mixed results. At least it proved to me that the effort that I put into this exercise did pay off. If you want to give the exercise in this video a try, I'll share all my files below. All that being said, there's still one last thing for me to do. The reason I went through all this in the first place was to see if this would help me draw anime in a more painterly style. So I started by doing the same things as I always did. Get a reference, block the big shapes, but this time with the aim of exaggerating features for that anime look. I tried again and again and again, but each time it just gets creepier and creepier. I even tried making the eyes gigantic, thinking it would automatically make it more anime. Turns out that's not the case at all. Then out of desperation or perhaps sheer luck, I happened to choose this reference with the mouth and nose covered. And I was surprised by how different the drawing looks without those features. Meaning, the nose and mouth heavily affects how anime a drawing looks. Something I'd never considered for some reason. I then finished this off by anime-fying the drawing. And this would turn out to be the best drawing that I've made. It's also the first drawing in the study that felt like my own. So now, knowing how much of an impact nose and mouth has on a drawing, in the next attempts I tried simplifying them, as well as making the eyes larger and less shading on the face. Each drawing was still awkward, but I feel like I was getting closer. And then I made this. I'm super happy with the result, but it's the process that truly surprised me. Like, my drawing approach, my work style, it completely changed, and I don't know how much of this will stick, but this painterly approach was way more fun than I expected. Oh, and by the way, I added colors to black and white images by creating a new layer and set it to color blend mode, and just painted it on top. And yeah, that was the end of my 4-week study. What started off as an attempt at clearing my watch later turned into a study that would help me get out of my slump and make drawing exciting again. And I hope you found something here useful as well. Big thanks to brokendraw for an awesome tutorial. And as always, thanks. I'll just watch this later.